right. Hello, people of YouTube land, those that are part of Ted Green Eagles' Discord, those that follow Ted and I on Twitch, and people that are listening to this on Spotify or whatever streaming platform that we decide to put this on. I am Traductus.
And I'm Ted.
And this is the movie review podcast. I almost said the old title. Fuck, this movie's just like...
We haven't recorded in a minute, it turns out.
Yeah, we haven't recorded in a minute, and also this movie's kind of brain draining. Spoiler. But anyway, this is the movie review podcast where we take a director's filmography and review each movie one by one and rank them. I go over the background info, Ted says the plot, and then we go into likes and dislikes. And we are on the third to last movie, and that is Drag Me to Hell. And Drag Me to Hell was released released in March 15th, 2009 at South by Southwest.
Shit.
And then get released in the rest of the United States in May 29, 2009 with a budget of $30 million and a box office return of $90.8 million. And Ted, this is what kind of irks me. There's a lot of good reviews for this.
Did you say
at the time and now?
Did you say 13 million to 90 million budget to
30.
profit? 30 to 90.
30.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better. Not good, but a little better.
So Drag Me to Hell was first being done like 10 years ago when Sam Raimi and his brother Ivan Raimi were writing the script, and the movie was under the title The Curse. Both Raimis made this as a morality tale, desiring to write a story about a character who wants to be a good person, but makes a sinful choice out of greed for her own betterment for it. The Raimis tried to make the character Christine the main focal point in the film and try to have Christine in almost all the scenes in the film. So contrary to popular belief, because there was a theory that this was about the mortgage and housing crisis of like the great inflation, but Raimi's like, no, that's just a coincidence.
That's a stretch, I think.
Oh, what's even more of a stretch is that apparently there's a fan theory that this movie is actually Christine having hallucinations because she has an eating disorder.
Okay. Everything you're saying makes me hate this movie more. Please continue.
Right? It's like, guys, what Raimi says what it is what it is, okay? There's nothing really too much into this.
Okay.
Now, getting into other things here. Elements of the story were actually drawn from another movie called Night of the Demon, which was made in 1957 in Britain. And that itself is an adaptation of M.R. James's 1911 short story, Casting of the Runes, which has a similar shaped demon, a 3-day curse, and also the most significant parallel. The story involves passing a cursed object, which has to be passed on to someone else, or the possessor will be devoured by one or more demons. Unlike past horror films, Raimi actually wanted this movie to be PG-13 and not strictly driven by gore, stating, "I didn't want to do exactly the same thing I've done before." Fair. Well, Mr. Raimi?
That's kind of fair. No, look, I see why you're saying that, but it's kind of fair. If his goal was a PG-13 horror...
Yeah, no, that's not the problem I have. The problem I have is that there's too many similarities to.
Okay, but if we're doing that, I mean, we could say that about any director we've done, right? In the idea that like Christopher Nolan films are non-linear storytelling for a plot that makes you think, right? Like, yeah, okay. Right. Sam Raimi does a very slow, drawn-out plot to make a horror movie, right? Like, okay, I'm not.
I wasn't gonna say that. We'll get into likes and dislikes.
It feels worse. It feels worse, but I get it. And I'm okay with that.
Now, due to Raimi action, and the reason why this movie took 10 years to make is that Raimi was filming Spider-Man and had to push Drag Me to Hell back. Now, originally, he actually offered for, guess what director did he offer it to at first?
I don't know. Somebody notable at this point, and it's going to bother me.
Yeah, it's going to be, how about this? This guy's noted for horror comedies. Or comedies in general.
Oh, is it the fucking guy that did, goddamn. I'm not looking for Scream. I'm looking for fucking, the parody of Scream. Fuck.
You're thinking a Scary Movie. No, it wasn't Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Okay.
Or the fucking Seltzer and Friedman, Friedberg, whatever the heck the other guy's name is, the two guys that do all the parody movies. No, it's none of them. No, this is, and I'm not knocking Keenan Ivory Wayans. Keenan Ivory Wayans is a good director, and it's probably why Scary Movie was good, as opposed to everything else that Seltzer and Friedberg have done. But Edgar Wright.
Okay.
And he turned it down because he was filming Hot Fuzz, and also said if I did it, it would feel just like doing karaoke.
W choice. So, Hot Fuzz better. Hot Fuzz better. That could be we could wrap it up here. Hot Fuzz is better. And we could leave.
Now the funny thing is that after the previous 3 Spider-Man films, Raimi wanted to came back to the script since he wanted to make a simpler, low-budget film.
Okay.
Which probably explains some of the CGI.
No. But no. Yes, but no.
Honestly, I think a lower budget would have made this better. Which brings us pretty much right completely on background. We'll just go into casting. Now we have Alison Lohman as Christine Brown. Now Alison Lohman, most people probably know her as Nicolas Cage's daughter in Matchstick Men, and also like the daughter, Michelle Pfeiffer's daughter in White Oleander. Pretty much someone that was actually like a well-known name during that time, but like not huge, especially since like she retired after getting married. But she ends up getting the role because the original person who had the role, Elliot Page, had a scheduling conflict.
Okay. I think okay. I think Elliot Page is a better performer. I think that the fear that is portrayed for the horror aspect of this might be better as cast. I don't know how. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was the first choice, was Elliot Page. I think he would have done a hell of a good job.
I don't dislike that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the only alternate thing that I saw. But yeah, so it ended up going to Lohman. Oddly enough, she actually enjoyed filming and enjoyed doing the stunts, but wasn't a fan of horror films. Also, we have Justin Long as Professor Clayton Clay Dalton. I haven't heard anything about his why he was cast. There's only 2 other people that I have like stories about why they were cast. But before I get into them, we have Reggie Lee as Stu Rubin, who is like Alison Lohman's rival in the business realm of things. We also have like her boss, who's played by David Paymer. He's one of those actors that it's like, yeah, he's like that guy. Him when you see him.
I can't place him in a single goddamn thing, but he is absolutely recognizable.
Yeah, he's apparently in Mr. Saturday Night, Quiz Show, Searching for Bobby Fischer, City Slickers, Crazy People, State and Maine, Payback, Get Shorty Carpool, The American President, The Hurricane, Ocean's 13.
100%. Even if you don't recognize him, you're going to recognize his voice. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And then goes into the 2... Also, Octavia Spencer's in this in a small role.
Where? Where? What?
She's a bank coworker, apparently. So I guess she's an extra.
No, she's got to be one of the ones that freaks out during the blood scene.
Probably. But like, it's funny. Like, there's so many of these movies where Octavia Spencer is just like a background character.
I just fuck. Anyway.
So next one is a stage actress by the name of Lorna Raver, who plays Miss Sylvia Ganush, who is the she's like a Russian Romani lady that
provides a curse.
Curse. But anyway, Lorna Raver auditioned for the role as Miss Ganush, and she was not aware of the specific nature of the character until being cast, stating that all she read was that the role was about a little old lady coming into the bank because they're closing down her house. It was only later that I saw the script and I said, "Oh my." And to prepare for the role, she actually met with a Hungarian dialect coach and asked to have portions of the script translated into Hungarian so she could speak it.
Respect.
So,
Respect.
And honestly, yeah. And the other one is Christopher Nolan alumni, Yusuf himself from Inception.
There's no way you could have possibly sounded more racist saying that name. I'm going to give you the opportunity to try it again, but Jesus Christ. You sounded like such a fucking white man just slurring through all of the consonants. God damn it, Stalin.
What? Dilip Rayo? Is that what it is? Is it Dilip Rayo?
I don't know. It's like the way you pronounce the consonants, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway. Yes, from Inception. Oh, man.
Excuse my Western Pennsylvania accent, okay? God damn it.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, he plays Ram Jass, and the producer of the movie was actually mildly hesitant casting him, stating his audition was he was a little bit. It's because he was a little bit younger, so they weren't sure of casting him. They wanted someone older, but then he read the script, and to quote Grant Curtis, the producer, he goes, "But as we were looking at his reading, Sam said there's no minimum age requirement on wisdom." And to be honest, like, I think if we get, hold on, yes. All right.
I, for what it's worth, I think that he was probably the best acted part in this movie, though. Like, yeah. I think he fucking nailed that casting. Not that anyone was bad, particularly. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he was notably better than the rest.
Can we put it on pause so I can just do this and...
Yeah.
All right. God damn it. Really? Fucking... Damn it. We're on likes and dislikes right now.
You were still working on cast.
That's all I had was just those two.
Okay.
And, yeah. Because everybody else doesn't really matter in this cast.
All right. Then, edit Ted. That'll do it for cast. Fuck the interruptions. We're going to go into plot. Okay, so, listen. The plot is basically that she denies a woman a bank loan, and the woman freaks out, just like, here's a fucking curse, abducts her in her fucking car, makes her get into 2 different car accidents in the same goddamn incident, an insurance company's fucking nightmare, says, fuck your jacket button, and curses the button. And then, yeah, the woman is fucking cursed, and she's trying not to die to the fucking shadow realm, and then she has to give away the button, and then she doesn't, and then she dies, and she gets dragged to hell. Thus the movie, and then they give you the title sequence, and that's the fucking movie. That's the plot. Hate to give spoilers, but like when it's called "Drag Me to Hell," and then you see that in the opening sequence, like you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the plot. On to likes and dislikes. Stallman, I think the natural place here is to start with likes because I know our dislikes list is longer. So let's tell me what you enjoyed.
I think Justin Long did a decent performance. Obviously, like if we hadn't like fanboyed enough. I forgot. Adriana Braza Gonzalez as like the seance lady.
Motherfucker told me
in the beginning and then at the end, she does an all right performance. But like, Dilip Rayo, the guy that plays Ram Dass, is fucking awesome.
Ram Dass' performance is fantastic.
Like, easily the highlight of this movie. I will say that there are some parts in this film that are okay. Like, I did enjoy the fact while she's like trying to give the button back to like the old lady, and when the cross falls on her head, and I wish that was the ending with her drowning in the grave.
Bonk. Yeah, 100%.
Because that would have been I would have given this a hell of a lot higher fucking rating than I am if that was the ending, because that would have been perfect. I think like, and like more like the serious parts of the movie, I think Alison Lohman does all right. Other than that, that's about all I got. Is that some of the acting performances range from like okay to like decent. Like Reggie, like I guess Reggie Lee's character of Stu Rubin, like he's all right. There isn't really much.
I think I'm with you in the idea that like acting performances are really good. I cannot say that. Honestly, Justin Long is the worst performance you get in this movie.
Right.
And like, what you get out of a Justin Long performance. Let's be completely fucking real. You've seen Dodgeball before. You've seen every Justin Long movie ever. Right. I think the acting performances were pretty decent. I think the characters were pretty consistent. Like there were no holes and no oddities. I think that, and
Justin Long actually lives in this one. It's all or not completely. This is the only like. I mean, yeah, his girlfriend dies in front of him, but like Justin Long has been through worse in a horror movie.
I think that they're okay. I'm gonna come back to this in dislikes. We know how I feel about Sam Raimi dragging things on. There is far too much. There's far too much background. Like, he doesn't speed anything up, right? We're gonna fucking come back to that. But I think for as much as this movie feels like it is slow and procedural, I don't think that there is any waste in this movie.
No, there really isn't.
I wouldn't say that this is a plus in any director other than Sam Raimi. Don't get me wrong. But for this director, I think that there is very little that you cut out of this movie to make the same movie. I don't think that any individual scene drags. I don't think that we're not jumping back and forth between plot lines. We're not this movie is very concise. It is very straightforward. It is very much to the point and gets you where you need to be with no filler. And I think for Sam Raimi specifically, there is value in that. And I think that's a positive.
Okay.
I also just small positive, real fucking small. I think that they do a very good job at managing the time. I think the idea that it is a 3-day plot, they never tell you that in the movie, which is an absolute fucking dislike of mine. And I'm starting with fucking dislikes because I know Stallman's gonna fucking go off. But they tell you in the title sequence it's a 3-day plot line, and never fucking again. But they tell you
until the end. Until near the end.
We're coming back to this on dislikes, but the title sequence tells you that it's a 3-day plot line, and I feel like you get a very good interpretation of where each day starts, where it ends. You are following along with time, and you don't have confusion as to how do they fit 17 days worth of activities into day number 1 before she sleeps for the first time, right? Like, I think that there is a very good management of time. You are following along in a real-time feeling plot. And I think that there's a lot of value for a movie like this in that essence.
All right, before we get to dislikes, if you're done.
Yeah, I'm good.
Does that warrant this movie to have a sequel?
No. Fuck no.
Guess what?
Yeah, sequel, I'm sure. I'm sure. I will
in March 2023, Raimi revealed that Ghost House Pictures was actively trying to come up with ideas for a potential sequel for the movie.
I will say that, like, where most horror movies try to create a franchise, this doesn't do that. It's a very concise plot. In fact, the plot dies halfway through the movie as a plot line. Like, okay, I think that, like, it's a decent concept. They use the time, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. At a base level, it's fine.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of for, like, what would be a sequel is if Justin Long tries to get Ram Dass to, like, summon the demon so he can fight the demon for revenge. That's it.
Okay, we're going to move the dislikes. I'm going to leave my list short because I'm sure Stallman is going to mimic most of the things that I have to say here, so I'm just going to let it fucking happen. I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to let Stallman have his goddamn soapbox, because goddamn does he deserve it. All right. The negatives. The movie as a whole drags so fucking hard. We watched the whole thing. I know when the climax is supposed to happen. I cannot actively tell you, to an honest truth, when the climax is supposed to be. Most horror movies build, and they get you to an end point. They kind of, like, sneak you into some sort of fear, and then they just erupt on you. There's, like, 3 different fucking
climaxes in this, and they're all like, oh, that's not the climax, there's still more.
They all don't reach the horror of an intro-level horror sequence to tell you that it's a horror movie for a modern horror movie. I get it's PG-13. I give Raimi some credit for the idea that he tried to keep a movie PG-13 and still create a horror.
Especially since there's an unrated version of this, which we didn't watch. We watched the theatrical one, so the PG-13 version, which made me kind of worried that it was like a R-rated movie that was cut down, which we get a lot, and a lot of horror films suffer from that.
Right.
But the fact that it was deliberately made PG-13.
I give Raimi credit for building a movie within that aspect that stayed PG-13, but also it made this movie dog shit.
That's kind of a red flag of this time if it says PG-13 and it's a horror film. Because every movie that's done that during this time period has sucked. And then you watch the unrated version, you're just like, well, that was entertaining.
The crazy thing is that before we started, right, like, Stallman went to go rent the movie so that we could watch it, and he's like, do we want the PG-13, or do we want the standard, or do we want the like, uncensored version? And I was like, no, standard, like, as it released, whatever. And as I'm thinking back to it now, like, uncensored doesn't make that better. Adding extra blood does not make this a watchable movie. Like, they didn't cut this to make, like, a critic happy, right? This was genuinely a PG-13, and they went, fuck it, more blood, dumbass. And I guarantee you it would have been CGI blood, and it would have been fucking worth it anyway. I think that the plot was super fucking predictable. There's no part of this
that is my biggest thing, is how predictable, and also the Romani curse thing. That thing's been done. I know this movie's supposed to be, like, campy and, like, with elements of comedy in it and stuff, but, like, that trope has been done over and over and over and over that I'm just sick of it. And with someone like Sam Raimi, with, like, what we saw with the Evil Dead and everything, it's like, dude, like, are you really just gonna, like, take, like, a boring concept that's been overdone as opposed to doing something creative?
I don't mind the curse aspect of thing. Like, yeah, I'm with you. It's overdone. It's been used. Whatever.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that it's a curse, but it doesn't. Does it have to be a Romani curse?
No. Even then, I'm saying that, like, it doesn't bother me because it's got a name, right? It's a very specific thing. Like, it's a very specific reference. That doesn't bother me so bad, right? The issue is that, like, okay, Ram Dass is like the intro level seer who can't fix your fucking problems, but also he knows the answer when you've got 10 minutes left to fucking spare, right? That's a fucking issue for me.
Yeah.
I kind of hate the idea of the ambiguous horror figure here. I think that Raimi doesn't do himself any favors in the idea that, like, the monster is a shadow crawling up the stairs, and then it hits you, like, physically hits you with a comedic slapstick noise, right? Okay, so, like, they kind of ruin their own premise, and that's a negative. The one place I'm not gonna let Stallman have his soapbox before he really fucking takes off and just rips this movie to fucking shreds, the CGI needs to get ripped the fuck apart.
This honestly, here's the thing.
Nope.
If that was all practical effects,
Stallman, let me fucking have this, and then you take your soapbox. You drive it to the end. The end of the podcast is fucking yours. I'll let you do the outro if you want to be that fucking mad. This one's your place to rant. Let me have my 2 seconds, and it's all yours.
Okay.
The ending scene in particular, I think, is the place in which this is the most egregious. There are other places that the CGI sucks, the animation sucks, the decision making sucks, but I think that the ending sequence in particular is the place that this is most egregious. We brought in a goat specifically so we could put the demon in the goat, you kill the goat, and everybody lives in happy hooray, right? The goat takes on a human face. They can't even make it shaped like a fucking goat anymore, okay? And then they fail to kill it as a stationary object chained to a fucking table. Okay, like you don't fucking understand how awful the animation sequence has to be to make it even where you can't animate it into being believable. You have to animate it into a way that's like, I can't believe that they hired animators to do this dog shit. I could have animated better, and I've never animated a goddamn motherfucking thing in my motherfucking life. Unreal. Absolutely fucking horrible. If we want to take some other small steps as a parting shot before I let Stallman absolutely fucking rip this movie to fucking shit, sound effects were pipesound.exe and bonk. And and that was it. The fucking slap, the pipe sound that is the cross hitting somebody in the fucking head as a 600-pound fucking concrete object. Bonk. Where it echoes itself. Fuck right off. This movie is made like fucking dog shit, and it's awful. Stallman, run us to the fucking end. It's all yours.
Okay. So, here's the thing. This movie is supposed to be campy. It's supposed to have the horror comedy aspect with it, which worked really well with, The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. Now, the issue that I have with this is that, and it's not that Alison Lohman does a bad job. Her character's not written that great when it comes to the aspects, because when she does the serious stuff, it's good. But when it comes to the comedic stuff and everything, it seems that when in terms of a horror movie protagonist, it seems that the Raimis can only write, Ash. Yep. Because this is literally the lady version of Ash.
Oh no! Do not disrespect Ash in that fashion, you slime bag.
The Dollar Tree version.
That one I'll give you.
Dollar Tree lady version of Ash.
Great value,
because
Ash.
The comedy does not work. It works in a couple of times, but where we had criticisms about American Werewolf in London, where a lot of times the comedy would ruin otherwise what would be a very tense scene, or the tense scene would ruin a comedic moment. That's this on steroids. Because but the worst part about it is that there isn't enough tension in this. Everything is super goddamn predictable, and the comedy's just not funny. It's just really, really unthoughtful, bland slapstick that was actually, if any thought was really put into it, was, you would see that in Army of Darkness, and it was really good. It was well done. But in this, it just falls flat. Now, here's the thing. I can forgive all that if, if there was some sort of charm. What's that thing of charm that's in all the other Evil Dead movies? Oh, yeah. Practical effects.
No, I was going to say enjoyability.
Yeah, but hold on. When you see bad practical effects, you can at least appreciate the effort that was put into there, but even if they're laughably bad, and this movie's not laughably bad, all right, unfortunately. When, certain effects are laughably bad, especially practical effects, you kind of ignore some of the lackluster things in a movie. Case in point, the stop motion sequence in they didn't ruin anything.
Right.
You know, like you could still watch, I mean, Jason and the Argonauts and see the stop motion and stuff and just like, well, that's really bad, but like that's the charm of the movie. Or like Clash of the Titans, which had that in there for whatever goddamn reason, despite being made in the 80s. But here they decided to have really, really poorly done CGI. Now, really poorly done CGI works if you're Sharknado. But that's mainly because the movie's like supposed to be entertainingly bad, you know, or like, you know, something like Velocipaster. I haven't seen Velocipaster, but does that have really bad CGI in it?
Not only does it have bad CGI, they went insert CGI here as a cutscene to making the bad CGI happen. Yeah, no, 100%. You nailed it.
You get what I'm saying.
You nailed it.
All right. But here is like bad CGI with a budget. And I have a feeling like if this movie had a lower budget, it would help this movie out more. But instead, it seems like a very boring, straight to the, you know, by the numbers, like horror film with like weird comedic elements just awkwardly thrown in there. And, fuck, where was I going? Oh yeah, and they just like, yeah, we're just going to put the CGI in there. It's going to be great. We got the big budget. And then it aged like dog shit. That's what it looks like.
No,
and
you can't even say it aged like dog shit. This never
It was
looked
dog
good.
shit when it came out.
Never
Yeah, it was not good. It never looked good. But like, it's, the CGI just like kills a lot of things because you're so distracted about how bad the CGI is that it's just like, are you freaking kidding me? And I understand, like, CGI is, you know, hard to do and everything, but, like, come on. Like, $30 million and that's what you get? $30 million.
Fair.
In, like, 20 years ago.
15.
15. Okay, what the fuck ever.
You're not wrong. I'm just numbers. Autism brain.
Like, you have no idea where there's numerous times I'm like, I could be watching The Evil Dead. I'd rather be watching The Evil Dead. Wow, you know, why?
The Evil Dead in the 70s holds up better than this. Like,
why
truly.
In the hell? Like, the CGI is the biggest thing that just makes me, like, puke. And on top of that, I talked about this in The Ring, and what makes me really not like movies,
glasses off, oh shit,
horror films in this movies, is that even in like the parking lot scene, they did the green tent, the green filter tent, which is the MTV horror movie thing that everybody did after Saw, which, you know, I said works great with Saw. They even did that with this. So not only is it bad CGI, which I hate in horror films to begin with, and with it being PG-13, which is a red flag to me as a horror film in the 2000s that's PG-13.
This one in particular suffers more from that than most others that I've seen. Like, you're not wrong. This one is worse. Don't lump it in. This one's worse.
Yeah. But then they use the green tent. This movie fucking sucks. And the thing is that Sam Raimi knows how to make a horror film. Oh, I have never been so fucking disappointed watching a fucking movie. I was literally excited for how short the movie was because of how long all the Sam Raimi movies were prior to this. And with it also being a return to back to basics and a whole bunch of people actually liking this movie, I had, unfortunately, too high expectations. And I should have noticed when I noticed that this was PG-13, that would have been the kiss of death with this movie. But I still just like, you know what? Whatever. You know, I thought The Ring, you know, the American version of The Ring was going to be dog shit. Then we watched it. I'm like, no, it's actually quite good. So I gave it a chance, and it bit me in the ass.
I will say, though, that, like, I think the biggest indictment of this movie is not necessarily any individual piece. Like, for us to list our dislikes, right, doesn't quite do it justice in the idea that, like, the movie is watchable, which I know is crazy to say after the diatribe we both just put on, right?
It's what? Okay.
It's watchable. But
it's boring and stupid at the same time.
There's no point of this that has any redemption to it. There's no point of this that you can look at it and be like, okay, yeah, it's bad, but there was this good thing. There's no point in this that you can look at it and be like, okay, it was a fun watch, right? Fucking even Crime Wave, if we're staying within the same director, right?
Crime Wave is at least a fun watch.
Bad movie. You have fun watching it. Right? There's no fun.
Moonraker.
There's no joy. There's no redemption. There's no positive quality to this. Like I don't think that there is any place in this movie where you can be like, yeah, this is the reason that I would recommend anybody watch it. If you want somebody to suffer watching a movie, there are better recommendations. There is nothing about this movie that you should ever recommend it for any reason. And I think that's such a huge indictment at this point in Sam Raimi's filmography that, like, man, this fucking hurts.
Yeah, I haven't suffered through a movie like this since The Gift.
Even like you mentioned earlier, Velocipaster, right? Terrible fucking movie. Awful fucking watch. By the end of it, you're miserable you sat down to watch it. But at least for the first 20 minutes, you are able to laugh at how terrible it was, right? Like this doesn't even give you that value. There is no purpose in turning this movie on purpose. It's such a huge indictment.
I'd rather watch The Howling 2.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm with you, but I hate the fact that you're right. Oh. All right. I think rather than just continuing to diatribe about how much we fucking hate this movie, let's send rankings, dude. Let's send it.
Third from the bottom. I don't hate it more than The Gift. Because The Gift is just completely boring. And by the way, like, the character of Joss Ram is the only reason why it's third from the bottom. Have it dead last if it wasn't for that performance.
Okay, I told Stallman out loud yesterday I was going to put this last. That, like, at least It's Murder, you can be like, what the fuck are we doing? And get a giggle out of the fact that you're stupid enough to watch this. I've changed it since. It's now second from the bottom in front of It's Murder, specifically because this is watchable. Yeah, there is nothing redeemable about this movie. I am even putting it below The Gift. Like, at least The Gift had a plot line that was, like, reasonably engaging.
Yeah.
This doesn't even have that, dude. Like, there is no reason to turn this movie fucking on. If this were any other director, if this were any other series, if we were doing anything else with our time and we had watched any movie other than It's Murder, this would be last. I want to make it very clear that of all of the movies we have done for this podcast, the bottom two are It's Murder and this pile of dog shit. There is no redeemable qualities about this.
What the fuck, Sam Raimi? No wonder why he hasn't done a horror film since then. And what the fuck is the gap between this and Oz the Great and Powerful? If I remember right, it's a huge freaking gap.
Wasn't Oz the Great and Powerful like 2016?
Oh, okay. Maybe it's a gap between that and...
Well, 2009 to 2016, still 7 years. Like, even still, that's a long-ass fucking gap. But anyway...
Right. And even though this movie did good, people liked it, but we don't. So, I liked Batman versus Superman in the frickin' movie theater, so what the hell do I know?
Admittedly, if this is a movie that you enjoy, I would love to hear the reasons why. Like, I don't think this movie is...
I can only recommend it to people that are really into Sam Raimi. That's it.
Okay, look, I don't think this movie is so bad that there is no one on earth who could defend it. Don't get me wrong, right?
Right.
Like, I'm not here to say that this is the worst movie of all time. We did, in fact, watch It's Murder. But I am saying that if you enjoyed it, I want someone to comment on this video and tell me why this was a movie that they enjoyed. I am eager to hear anybody with dissent and why, because I want to be open to new alternatives. I want to hear the reasons that this movie was well received, because I truly cannot find it. Anyway, we're gonna fucking wrap this one up. I'm agitated. I'm not even watching the movie now, and I'm fucking agitated. As always, thank you guys for watching. We're almost wrapped up with Sam Raimi. Yes. We've got 2 more movies left. hop in the Discord. We post in the Discord when we go to watch movies. So check it out there. You can watch movies with us. Even if the podcast isn't coming out live, we're probably watching movies to, prequel for the podcast coming out because we suck at the whole schedule thing. We're fucking terrible.
Oh boy, yeah.
As always, if you're interested in the content, you can check out the rest of the YouTube channel for gaming content, the rest of the movie podcast. We've probably gotten pretty damn close to 100 fucking movies at this point. Like we've done. You know what? Fuck it. I'm counting. 100th episode special coming out whenever we hit the 100th, and if we've already fucking passed it, we'll do something special later. Fuck it. I don't care. If you're interested in our individual content, you can follow us both on Twitch. Stallman at Traductus, myself at Ted Green Eagles. Honestly, thank you guys for watching. We got a couple Sam Raimis left. If you're watching, I don't know when this is going to fucking actually post. So if we haven't done the Christmas special funny thing, then maybe I will just record it now and do it fucking next Christmas. There's a Christmas thing fucking
probably
coming.
do that. We'll probably do that.
You don't even fucking know at this point. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Love you. Appreciate you. See you next week.
See ya.